for self-condemnation. We can do that. Maybe we weren't the best parent, or maybe we didn't come through, and we're just constantly beating ourselves up and meditating on that. Some time ago, I was at a job that I know God put me in. I was praying for a job. Lord put me in the job. And I got hired, but I got hired with even a promotion. And I'm like, okay, Lord, if this is your will, but I want to be home with the kids. And it was. He really had me in there, and they went ahead up and beyond to make sure that I was in this position and even gave me a raise. It was really good until things got bad. Isn't it everything really good until things get really bad? And it's just, that's when I began to look at the Lord and say, Lord, why did you do this? We start going and doing that. Lord, why did you do this? And then it took me a tough road. You know, there's things that happen in life, and those things happen. It happened with the job. And I'm kind of private. I don't really say anything. I'll see my mom or sister, and I'm like, everything's fine. And it wasn't. I was just so depressed and so consumed by the situation where I couldn't even drive. I was getting panic attacks. I was getting just where I couldn't sleep, and I would cry and cry and cry and tell people, why? He put me here. So why is he allowing this? Why are these people being so mean? Why did this take place? And I thought, aha, a little twinkle in my eye came. I thought, I know the solution. I'm going to go to the doctor, and he's going to give me some medicine to sleep and to get me off anxiety, off depression, and make me a really happy wife again, or a nice mom. So I went, and oh man, I was so angry. I got the doctor that went ahead and said, we're not giving you this. And I looked at him. David's sitting in the room. You have to. And I'm serious. I was really saying, please give it to me. Let me make sure there's a tissue box. I was really begging for it because I just wanted to be well. I let the fear overcome me. I would wear a hat and disguise in the market because I couldn't continue my day because the fear has consumed me of what took place. The fear has put anxiety, it put depression, it crippled me. And it started to cripple my marriage. Where even when it came to intimacy or sleeping at night, I would just start crying, and I wouldn't even, just couldn't sleep. So we were in the doctor's, and he said, I can't give it to you. I wanted to go crazy. I think I started to. And David's looking at him, and he says, look, this man here, he's good for you. Listen to him. And I thought, oh man, no, he did not say that. I was so annoyed because I felt like at that time, oh, David, you think you know it all. Or you think you're just going to refer it back to the Lord. Man, I wanted to tell him where to shove it. And I was just hurting where I felt like he couldn't understand. So I ended up getting pregnant with Faith, so that was out of the mix. Couldn't get those pills. So frustrated. Because of this situation, I was given a therapist. And, you know, when you go through workman's comp, sometimes there's a therapist that want to get you in and get you out, and let's do this process. I didn't get that. I got a Christian therapist. I was so angry. Yeah, I was so angry. And the thing is, you know, she had like a book. Okay, a book of just like the records of things that happened. Okay, and she knew my past. My first marriage, my second marriage, my one kid, the other baby got a kid, and she knew everything here. Even knew that, man, and this girl's married to a pastor, and what, she has women's meetings, oh my God. She knew everything. And I was just so like, okay. She says, let me tell you something. You're being controlled by fear instead of by your faith. And I told her, I prayed. I was like, oh, she's not. And you know, sometimes we don't want to hear what people have to say. I didn't. I absolutely didn't. And I thank God for that woman. I know it was a divine appointment, just like today's a divine appointment. And sometimes we don't see it as ladies, but we carry these insecurities that maybe it came from a certain point of our life, or maybe it came from a word. I mean, there's words I hung on that my husband said, and I'm still looking in the mirror wanting to be perfect, and it just, I took it and I let it grow where it shouldn't have grown. So I did that. Everything was just, went to the therapist, and I'm telling you, it wasn't 1 year, it was 2 years. 2 years. And she says, okay, I think it's time. I said, time for what? She said, time for us to stop meeting. I said, no, what am I going to do? And I consumed myself, I would say, I think 75% of looking for that security with David for him to fill it. The other percent was school, and the other percent was Lord. So if you kind of figure out why it was such a crazy, really crazy mess, that's what it was. And this was, I think it was probably in the first, going into the second year of our marriage. You know, a lot of, it's just like flashbacks. And I'm so thankful what the Lord has done, but there's a place where going back, looking at all the hurts and all the emotions and the different things of what I was feeling, David said, okay, Janette, you gotta put on your big girl panties. I'm like, boy, I had them on. He's like, no, you didn't. And he says, I gotta go to work and you gotta function. And so he said, you need to take control over this. So anytime I would get in the car, has anybody have an anxiety attack, panic attack? There it goes, starts going. It says you can't go over this hill. You're gonna drive off the hill because you're so panicky. And it starts growing, don't go there. And so I told him, David, okay, but what do I do since you know it all? And he says, I want you to pray for yourself. I want you to lay hands on yourself. And I'm like, okay. So I did that, but it was day by day by day of doing that and really saying, okay, Lord, I give you my fears, and really surrendering the fears, because man, fear is going to creep up on you and it'll destroy you. It'll start creating things that you didn't even think you would do or think. And it did. There was a time in my life where I did want to say, you know what, I take my life, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so tired. But that's just a lie from the enemy that wants to go ahead and shut you down. Because imagine, I wouldn't be standing here, I wouldn't be laying hands on people, I wouldn't be working in the healing room. It probably would have really shaken David's life if I would have went on what I felt and said, give me those pills, because I know I would have been on those pills and probably taken even more pills, because Buddy drives me up the wall. In Colossians 1:3, Colossians 1:13, he has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption and the forgiveness of sins. I never, this is one of my favorite verses, because I'm going to read it again. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness, sickness, depression, insecurities, anxiety, fear, and transferred us into the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption and forgiveness in. That's forgiveness. That's forgiveness, for there's no self-condemnation. And also Luke 10:19, behold, I have given you the authority to tread upon serpents and scorpions and all of the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you. Knowing your identity in the kingdom we live in, the authority, it creates such security. I didn't know that. I'm telling you, man, there's many times, I remember one time, gosh, we used to argue a lot. From something that maybe I didn't heal of, it started to fester up. And we would argue, and then after, you know, it's fun when you get through arguments, because then after, the passion is great. Well, after a while, it starts to die, because it's like, oh, you're so tired. So I thought, like, okay, this is in my mind, and then my insecurities going. He's probably so exhausted. I probably drove him so crazy. One day he's going to come to church, and a woman's going to say, with angels, on her back, and is going to say, Pastor David, I need prayer. And then all of a sudden she's going to light up and he's going to say, oh my God. And then he's going to see the one and say, man, I'm out of here. I've married a crazy one. And but do you see, I don't, maybe I might be the only one that thinks like that. But I began to go ahead and fester these thoughts of insecurities because of something I didn't allow to heal, something maybe I didn't forgive, something I hung on to. And sometimes we hang on to these words. I did really a lot of reenactments, things that took place, and I'm like, rewind, play. And I really had to let it go. There are many times before, like I said, I looked to my husband for security. 75% of it was in him. The other 15% was in school, and the 10% was in the Lord. A part of it I think I held on to with school was because, when we go through things and we look towards other things to really build us up, my thing was school. I thought I can fix it, I can be better, I can stand on my 2 feet, I don't need a man, I can cure myself. There's a lot of eyes in that. And it might not be school, maybe it's a job. Sometimes we really lose focus and start putting ourselves into other things. When I'm not saying when you get married, you're not supposed to find that security. You really are supposed to have that security, but that percentage of that security is supposed to be in the Lord. And, I used to go to David thinking, okay, he's going to have an answer. Okay, he's going to do this, man. And I really just drained him. I drained him because I put so much dependency on me instead of holding the Lord to it. And I really have to learn he'll never fail you, he'll provide for you. The story of Sarah and Abraham, some of us know that, where she was an older lady, and she was praying about having a baby, wanting a baby, and didn't see it happen. And the Lord told Abraham, I'm going to give you a child. So she does a Janette. She comes up with this really good idea to get, I would say like a maid, her helper, to sleep with their husband so she can get the baby. So he went along with it. Great, they had the baby. And it went all, talking about insecurities. She told her, get on out, get your stuff and get out. But the Lord still gave her that child in the end. She went ahead and laughed at the Lord. And she says, how can I think it was her late 80s, how can I have a child? And there's many times where we laugh at the Lord and we're just like, okay, how can this come to pass? How can this be possible? How can I go ahead and have a better relationship with this person? How can I heal with this? Maybe this had took place and it's been such, and it might be death. It might be divorce. It might be where something along the way messed with you. I really believe today is the day that these chains, these thoughts, these insecurities, the things that began to haunt you, they're broken off. You guys are free. When Jesus Christ died upon the cross, not only did he die for our sins, but he died for wholeness and healing. And I just want to tell you, ladies, be feisty. Like my husband is like, oh no, Mama Bear's coming out. And that's what I do. I have to be feisty with these things, because sometimes we can just give into things and we don't even know we're giving into it. And then there we go. And it's really just retraining yourself. In that with, her name was Hagar, the one that had the baby. But God still did come through. And there's many times where it's so easy, because I think I've depended more on David because I could physically see him. And I knew he was physically there, and I knew, okay, he can go to work. I know he can touch me. I know he can love me. I know he can spit out those words that's been wanting for me to hear. And I know I had to overcome. It's like, okay, I can't see him, but this guy won't let me down. This guy will go ahead and fill my heart with those words. He will give me comfort and maybe, yes, healing. It's there. Can David heal me? No. Can that other person heal you? Stop depending so much on that other person and start depending on the Lord. Because that Lord will go ahead and he'll restore you in a whole different way that you never thought before. And sometimes we get so impatient, we can let our insecurities take over and we can't even hear the voice of God. I didn't. I said, David, how do you hear him? And he's like, well, just wait upon him. In 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of timid, but of power and love and discipline. Be feisty with it. There's so many things in life that want to go ahead, and I'm talking whether it's social media, whether it's another woman, whether if it's words, whether if it's that person that you're searching for, that love. If you put all your eggs into that, it's going to fail you. God will never fail you. He will carry you. I used to think he couldn't carry me. Not because maybe I was pregnant and heavier, but I just thought he really couldn't carry me. Because I thought, oh man, it's funny because the insecurity wanted really to shut me down when coming to do this women's ministry. Of thinking, Janette, you've been married once. You've been married twice. You had a baby here, you had a baby there. You've been molested, abortion, let's see what else I did. Partied it up, let's see what else. I don't know, just loving life in a whole different way. And then getting married, and then all of a sudden it's like, Janette, you need to be hidden, you need to be quiet, and you better be so embarrassed of this. But then I had to go back and say, you know what? I forgot sickness. I was really sick. Okay, he loved me enough where he died upon the cross, he forgave me, but he also healed me of celiac disease. Okay, wow, he healed me enough to, he loved me enough to heal me. So I probably should trust him. I probably should give it to him. And sometimes we can be so consumed and blinded by what's in front of us instead of saying, I'm going to give you this, Lord. I'm going to give you my hurts, my pains. And I think I shared this with a few ladies. I always tell David, shut off the lights. You know, when it comes in, shut off the lights, leave the shirt on, half dressed. And he's like, okay, well, can't we put a candle on? I'm like, okay, if you don't open your eyes so big. And one day I just got tired of it. Ladies, don't you get tired of carrying things that you don't need to carry? I got tired and I got tired. And I'm talking about like, not just visually, yeah, I got tired of prancing around with my shirt and kind of hiding and then be trying to be sexy with a big t-shirt, you know. But I got tired of carrying things I didn't need to carry. I didn't need to give it to my husband to carry because I was making him such a mess. He was probably so excited to get out of the house just to get away from me. I was probably excited to get away from me, but I couldn't get away from me. But so I remember going, and he was in the restroom, and I'm like, I'm just, you know what? God loves me. He loves how I look. He loves me. I went ahead and knocked on the restroom door, and I was like, full on, just naked. And I said, okay, go ahead, look, really quick, 5 seconds. You know, and I stood there, and he's like, I already knew what was there. And I'm like, but you knew like the stretch marks and this and that. He's like, I love everything of it. I'm like, are you crazy? And it just reminded me, God already knows what's there. Stop trying to suppress it. He knows your hurts. He knows your pains. And I'm telling you, he knew my insecurities. Even looking at myself in the mirror. I don't have it all together. And I love it because then God can continue to work upon me and show me, don't go there. Keep your mouth shut. Don't do that. Just love him. Just forgive. And just trust me with your insecurities. Because man, I was really just crazy. In Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. I had to really figure that one out. And God gave me such strength to just shut my mouth and be patient where I couldn't be patient. I don't know how many of you that, because of the insecurities that were there, you try to be the controller. That was me. I try to control every situation, even to how he drives. Oh my God, I couldn't stand it. Or even how he parks. Just everything. Or even just of what he should do, how he should dress. Oh my God. Yeah. In Psalms 91:1, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, who I trust. And I don't know if you ladies see a continuous thing, trust, 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 trust. We're so easy to trust other people, our good friends. You know, we want to call them up and, oh my God, you know what he did? You know what, this has happened. We're so easy to trust our husbands. We're so easy to trust other advice coming in. I remember I would call my friend Brandy all the time. She's like, oh God, what did you do? And I mean, I stopped calling. I thought, wow. And it wasn't because I really got a good one. Well, yeah, I did get a good one. I'll go back there, but I really got a good one. It's just that I let the Lord work on me. I let the Lord calm me and calm that storm within me that, you know, things wanted to come up and I just wanted to shoot back all the time. And what it did was the Lord just gives you that peace. He gives you that joy. He gives you that patience that passes all understanding. There's times where I'm like, whoa, who was that? And I'm like, oh man, that was the Lord. You know, when I got married to David, I thought he was going to be the best mind reader. I totally did. I thought he's going to have it so together. That was so not true. I got to throw him under the bus. In Romans 12:2, this is one of my absolute favorite verses. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's funny because I shared the beginning part of the journey about going to the therapist, anxiety, and then fast forward all the way to now. I think for the past few years, the Lord has been just stripping me. And sometimes you might be thinking, what is the Lord doing in my life? Why is this kind of all not working out? It's probably because you're fighting him. He's probably been talking to you, whether it's to get your butt to church or whether it's to start ministering to someone else, whether it's coming in love, whether it's having patience, whether it's trusting him more. And the Lord, I would say about 6 months ago, began to knock upon my heart, and I'm like, ugh. I thought you were done with me. And I just let it brew. I let it sit because I didn't want to hear it. I was just like, okay, I'm already good where I'm at. I'm comfortable. Doesn't he bother us when we're comfortable? It's great, though, because then that's when you just really just grow and flourish. So I come home from the gym, and my husband's out, and he's like, I have something to tell you. And I said, I have something to tell you. And he says, you know, I've been really praying about something. It's about with the situation with the ministry, about something that the Lord. And I said, oh, okay. And he's like, but then the Lord told me, just wait. And I said, wait. He said, wait. I said, wait. He's like, I don't know. He just said, wait. I said, okay, great. He goes, but why didn't you tell me? And I think, I told him, I don't want you to smile. I don't want you to take any joy whatsoever. Because prior to that, when I was going to school, I had a whole plan. I was given some money to go ahead and finish off, and I came up with the Hagar plan. I said, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get this degree, I'm going to do this because we're going to get income coming in. You could go ahead and lay hands on people, go ahead and preach, I'll support you, but I need to be doing my thing. And he said, what about the kids? I said, what about the kids? We'll figure it out, right? I'm just going to have faith in that. We'll figure it out. And he's like, I was so irritated because he did that okay. And it was just like, oh, I know what that means. It's like, Janette, rethink yourself. Stop being selfish. So I told him, okay. And I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds absolute crazy. And I'm sure you guys ladies had those moments of feeling like, is this really you, Lord? And I said, the Lord's been knocking upon my heart to do Bible school. And then he starts smiling. I said, what are you smiling for? And I said, well, I'm not going to do it. That's just crazy. I already have the schooling here for the funding. And he says, okay. He goes, that's what I was praying, and I was praying, and that fit that. And I'm thinking like, okay, let me finish this. So the next day he comes up to me and he says, okay, so did you do it? And I said, do what? He said, sign up for Bible school. And I said, I don't have no money. Like, what do you, and he's like, where's your faith? I said, but I'm not. I said, okay, I'm just going to leave you alone. So he left me alone. He left me alone, but God didn't leave me alone. And there's going to be many moments where God's been knocking upon your heart to do something. And we could be so stubborn, or we could be so taken it by insecurity so we don't move on it. Move on it, ladies. I want to encourage you, move on it, because that's when God wants to go ahead. And if it's building you back up, if it's restoring you, if it's breaking old habits, if it's changing your mind and breaking things that you don't need to hang on to anymore. Let him lead you. He's a good leader. So I signed up. And I said, Lord, now I don't have the finances because you are going to support me in that school. And so if you really want me to do this, and I really did, I was like shaking my neck and just having an attitude. I said, then you need to come up with the finances. I need X amount of money for this school year, so let's see then. And I'm talking about the Lord can manipulate the system. The Lord can give you favor. He can open up doors like he's never had. He can do it because he's the Lord Almighty. He's our healer. He's our restorer. And he just needs you, ladies, to step out and put it to action. Start moving upon it. Don't look at the situation. The money was a situation, but I still did it. And I did it with a bad attitude. I did. I so did. And I even clicked on it for my bank account. I was just irritated. Like, Lord, haven't you took enough? I think I felt like that. I felt like, man, can you strip me anymore? I already stood naked in front of my husband. Are you going to really, like, what more? And I literally felt that, empty and naked, and thought, talk about insecurity. I felt like, this is my husband's thing. What am I here to say? Like, what am I? Why would you want me to do this, Lord? You're going to totally put me in an uncomfortable place. So I went ahead, I got this paperwork, and I was told that I could not use it for this school. And then the lady says, you know what, you just try it. Your 4 years expired, but you just try. So I filled it out, then I had a conversation with the Lord, and I said, Lord, if this is what you're really calling me to do, then you need to be my supplier. A week later, I got a check in the mail, fully paid. A week later. And then David tells me, so how do you feel? Don't you feel honored? I said, no. I said, I feel like that child that's been scolded. Like, Janette, haven't you been through so much where I've been talking to you? I've been showing you, now get with it. Why do you have to question me? I totally, ladies, I flip out on my kids when they question me. Because they question me like 4 times and then they, why do I need to do this? But why? And I'm like, I just took you shopping. Like, come on. And that's the child I felt like, didn't you trust me enough to come through? Didn't you trust me enough that I'm a good leader? That I will go ahead and make you secure in your insecurities that you have. I will go ahead and equip you because I am your father. Amen. So, the first 2 months, man, I was just angry. I don't think no one knew I was really kind of angry. I think it was, gosh, even through the holidays, I was just so irritated because I was doing it. And the Lord began to check me and said, man, change your attitude. Because we could do things, but we do, well, I do something with bad attitude, but I did. And as I began to do the classes, and I would tell Dave, oh, this professor, look at how he sounds, he's just so annoying. It began to minister to me. It began to go ahead, and yeah, it did bring back remembrance of things, but it reminded me how much God loved me, how much he healed me, how much he wants to go ahead, and he secured me enough to say, you know what, you are my father, you will lead me, you will guide me, you'll provide for me. I don't need to lean on my husband 70%. I don't need that because I'm married to you. Sometimes, ladies, we forget who we're married to, whether you're single, whether you're divorced, whether you're a single mom. I don't care. We forget. Stop forgetting. Because He is our provider financially. And I'm going to tell you, there's many times, and I think the Lord is waiting for me to get on board. I've shared with you guys before, where, you know, coming through with the rent, coming through with all these things. I said, you know what, David, we're going to be in the hole. Let's go ahead and we're going to take from our savings. That's more than enough we've given the Lord, you know, month to month. David's like, because I do all the bills. And the Lord began to check me and said,